everybody, and welcome back to the World Championship Series. For one last time this evening, it is time for the winners match of Group D. We have 3 players who are qualified for the playoffs. It's time to find the 4th. Joining me on the desk is In Control and Rotterdam. We've got lots to say about this upcoming match. It's a fantastic match. We'll get into that in a quick second here, as let's check in with the bracket, as we now have one final match remaining today before going into the tough ones tomorrow. It is all about the deciders and of course the elimination matches. Lilbow versus ForGG, a Millennium kill-off in this winner match. But which player is making it? As you've already said, In Control, 2 players here that are fighting for a first place finish, not in the group, but overall this season.
Yeah, this is an important match to just kind of gauge the 2 of them. Jaedong is also in that category of people that really want to go to BlizzCon and need these points. So the winner of this obviously goes to round of 8 and is sitting pretty. The loser has a pretty tough lower bracket of this group. Jaedong is not the guy you usually expect to play in an elimination match, but that's where you'll find yourself, and it's going to be tough.
No, absolutely, and I think it's going to be a really fun match as well. Of course, it's always fun when 2 teammates go up against each other, but especially ForGG, because the last really big series we saw him play against the Protoss was in the round of 16 in Toronto, where he just played, you know, and I don't normally say this, but that was a horrible series by ForGG. In game number 1, he went for a 1-base all-in, like which Terran does that, and in game number 2, he walked across the map with a bunch of bio units with 0 turrets, and he died against an Oracle. Like, that doesn't happen in WCS, you know, so he really has something to make up for, and I do think we're going to see a much better ForGG this time.
I mean, he's already started fantastically today. Had a brilliant 2-0 just now. You believe with Roddy that we are definitely going to see a better player now?
I do. I think the ForGG of the past was a lot more consistent and had really high peaks of tournament-winning caliber play. I don't know that he's there, but I do think that at least in the current form we're seeing, if that first series is any indicator, he's sharp. I mean, it's one thing to beat someone pretty good, but to beat him cleanly and mechanically as soundly as he did is really impressive.
All right. Well, let's take a quick look at the map veto then. They are now completed as the players are seconds away from beginning this winner match, and it is going to be Terraform, Cactus Valley, and Coda. I think we've had Coda in almost, if not all, in every single series.
100%. But this is the closest it's ever been to not being picked. Both players vetoed other maps, and this was just the default last map.
Roddy, what are you looking at this? I know you've seen Medivacs flying left and right in your nightmares.
Yes. I actually kind of feel that if I look at these maps, I think if ForGG wins this series, it's going to be a 2-0. Because I kind of like Lilbow on Coda. I feel like whenever I watch him, he's just always so solid. He's always on top of whatever the Terran is doing, and he knows exactly where he is. Cactus Valley, on the other end, is always an interesting map, because I feel it's very hard for Protoss to go up to 3 bases. Because of that, they often go for 2 bases, and that can become a little bit predictable as well. So, you know, if ForGG picks up map number 1, I think he's looking very good.
What type of player are we going to see from Lilbow today? In Protoss vs. Zerg, we know we're going to see a bunch of Stalkers and his typical, you know, baguette type of players, we call it. But what are we expecting in Terran, against the Terran, sorry?
I mean, like, whenever I see Lilbow, it infuriates me as a Protoss player, because you watch his games and you know that, like, he's expecting a Widowmine drop, he scouts the factory after the Reaper, he defends it, counters attack with a bunch of Blink Stalkers, wins immediately, and then it's like, hey, that looked really easy, I'm gonna try it, and then they are ready with 2 Bonkers and a bunch of Marauders, and Stim is about to finish up, and it's like, why does he always win so easy? But I feel that's only so many times you can get away with something like that, even though if there's one thing that I really like from Lilbow's PvT, is that he's very decisive and he's very committed in everything he does. It's not like, I'm gonna make a bunch of Blink Stalkers and see how well I do, but I've got the follow-up plan ready. It's like, no, if I'm gonna make Blink Stalkers, I'm gonna try to win with them immediately. So he's gonna cut some series economy, and I think he will try that at least in 1 out of the 3 games.
And he has fantastic Blink Stalkers. There's a reason why it goes to him so often.
And he's so smart in triggering mines and stuff as well. It's just all those small things. He definitely knows how to use units, let's say between the 8 and 12 minute mark.
All right, do you know what it's time for?
You know, can we just bring up the graphic from day 1?
No, sorry.
No, we can't?
No. Well, let's take a look at the predictions. We've looked at it a couple of times over the past few days.
God.
Here we are right now. It is Nathanius who takes the lead as we get closer and closer to the weekend. Unfortunately, Jeff, we're in near the bottom.
Striking
I
distance,
started today at 25%. I'm up to 36%, man.
That is awesome. I'm down €1,000, but I was down €2,000 earlier. It's a good way to look at it.
I'm Mr. Positivity up here, man. That's what I'm all about.
I do want to give some credit to my boy Nathan, though. Like
He's doing well.
73%, that's very impressive, especially with some of the crazy results we had. Like a couple of losses were inevitable. Nobody would have predicted Elazer to beat Hydra, for instance. So being 73%, that's looking very good. But as Jeff said, it doesn't matter how you start or even do in the middle of the race. It matters how you finish,
man. And we're going to finish strong, hopefully, Roddy. We need to...
Go Hawks.
Huh?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. It's a
Yeah,
Seahawks.
Go Hawks. I got that. It's a NFL reference.
Fell a little flat there, Jeff.
I think
It's okay. People at home, they know. They know
I got
what
it.
I'm saying.
At first, I did think you said Go Hawks, but I did understand the reference. I don't think Nathanias is going to finish in first place.
Oh, no.
It's
no,
quite
it's gonna
obvious
be
for me.
So often we see him do so well early on, only to plateau and then plummet, just absolutely skyrocket to the bottom.
Multiple times in multiple different areas in his career, with casting,
Oftentimes
streaming.
it ends with a Pikachu suit. It gets weird.
But back onto this series then. The players do need an extra minute before we jump into it, so we'll talk a little bit more about this. The predictions for us, they came through. I'm not sure we'll bring that up for you right now, but they came through as a 6 for Lilbow and a 2 for 4GG. The 2 for 4GG are on this desk.
Explain yourselves.
Well, I chose because I didn't want to go. It was more of a not I can see 4GG for this, and this. It was more that if I'm going to win this thing, I've got to go against the grain.
Wow.
That was my reasoning.
I went with 4GG because he beat me the last 9 times we played, and I just want to feel better about myself. I'm sorry.
I think
I do think that
Top-notch reasoning up here so far.
But Todd said that Lilbow had mentioned to him that there was really no way he was going to lose to 4GG. Obviously, the confidence is always high. And I think we do have the predictions ready for you guys now at home. You can see the 6 versus 2. But is Todd onto something?
I do understand why a lot of the folks over here picked Lilbow. He's been looking extremely good, and 4GG has not been that impressive in his TVPs. And we just don't see him a whole lot in this matchup. While Lilbow on the other end, doesn't matter if you put him against Bunny or some of those other top Euro Terrans, it often looks so clean and so solid. But at the same time, like, this is a very big opportunity right now for 4GG. You mentioned it multiple times, he's getting almost ready to move on, and he doesn't want to go out quiet. No, he wants to go out with a big bang. So I just kind of have the feeling that today we're going to see the best 4GG we've seen in a long time. The start was good, but he's going to have to follow it up here.
Why did you choose Lilbow then? If you're making fun of us picking 4GG, why Lilbow?
Oh, I think, I mean, I can't remember what the matches were, but Lilbow's got a very clean, and I actually like the word Kevin used, decisive PvT in particular. And I think that's one of the areas that makes him really strong. But also, to be honest, and this is a little bit, I don't know, we're up here to be critical, I suppose. 4GG, I think, suffers in that category specifically. Like, sometimes he'll kind of waffle about his decision making. And I feel like that coupled with the strength of Lilbow is going to be really strong here. And I don't know. I do think Lilbow, especially recently, is kind of the hotter player. And I also just want to kind of take a second to be like, that's pretty cool. It used to be in the past. Remember, we would joke about foreigners versus Koreans, and all of a sudden in the WCS system, a lot of these Koreans are being challenged, and I think this is an area where we'll see that.
And even if I would be wrong here, and we would be wrong together, Sean, I do think it would be super cool to see Lilbow win this group with Jaedong in it as well. And after that great performance in Season 2, I mean, that's super impressive.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time to go for the commentary team for one last time tonight. Who's going through in first place? Let's find out.
And what a match we do have lined up. 4GG, the Korean veteran, who recently has been struggling last season, having a disappointing finish. Can he make it through the rising star, the player who's shot to the top of the scene, Lilbow? And what a challenge he does have before him. Lilbow has looked so decisive recently. He's been on hot form, Todd.
Absolutely. Lilbow, he kind of reminds me of Naniwa. He has the same drive to try and qualify for BlizzCon there, to make that top 16 and somehow find his way there. After no non-Korean player managed to do it last season, he definitely could be the one here, but he needs a very strong performance here in this very tournament, starting with advancing from this group stage, which is going to be still pretty hard. He has to beat 4GG here, and I guess even if he loses here, he's going to have another chance later down the line. But he definitely rather here advance in first place, I'm sure.
And can he handle that pressure that he puts on his shoulders? He is a very young player, new to the spotlight, and let's not forget, he was not in Premier League in Season 1. Lilbow, he almost ran the Royal Road last season. First season in Premier League, made it right to the finals. And he is going to have his work cut out for him as we go into Map 1 on Terraform. It is going to be a big match. ForGG versus Lilbow. Map 1, ever important, as we dive in a TVP for the ages here. And of course, spawning here on the bottom right-hand side, our Korean veteran, Team Millennium's ForGG. He has his work cut out for him going up against the new Protoss player here. He is the French up-and-comer. It is Lilbow.
Lilbow in his previous series here against Jaedong, even though he had a disappointing first map loss, he definitely showed some of the same flair that brought him a lot of success in season number 2. You know, mixing up a lot of his builds, and I feel like it's something that he can do both against Terran and Zerg, and he's gonna need that against a ForGG who, I spoke with him, thinks he's definitely beatable here. He was telling me that ForGG is one of those Terrans that to some extent is going to be a little bit predictable, and as much as for lesser Protosses like me, for example, it's always meant that even though he's predictable, I still kind of know, I don't know how to counter him, and like the only thing I know is how I'm going to die in the end. Lilbow is a very good player to find solutions for some of those builds that we've seen in the past. So ForGG is known for his aggression. Something that Lilbow could do very well here is to kind of guess or know which one is going to be, shut it down, and then maybe do something like a counter-attack.
And that's something we have seen from Lilbow in the past. He loves to go for the fast blink play, and if the Terran ever does overextend, if he's ever very well prepared for it, he often jumps right on top of that, puts the counter pressure on very quickly. Lilbow was so decisive last season. We saw him absolutely steam his way through the playoffs. He 3-0'd Bunny, I believe, in the round of 8. It was very powerful.
ForGG here, warming up his fingers, a little bit stretching.
What an odd hand movement there. Each player, I mean, he's been playing for many years, so no doubt he's got his own tricks to stave off the RSI and those wrist problems, something which does plague a lot of players. But when you've been doing it as long as ForGG has as a pro gamer for like 8 years, I believe now, he's got to have those tricks well refined.
Lilbow opening with a single gas here means he wants to get the Nexus up quickly. This is very standard for ForGG. Having spotted the lack of second gas, he already knew that there was going to be a Nexus going down, but didn't choose to block anyway. Seems like he doesn't care all that much, as long as he gets his own command center here going up. He's going to be scouting across the map with a Reaper in a second. Still is mining gas after starting a reactor here, so ForGG is going to be going here for that quick factory behind this.
The patented Widow Mine drop play, which is so popular right now, the most likely option here. And he's going to come across with this Reaper looking to get some information. Now, a lot of the time, the Protoss player hasn't really committed to much tech yet. ForGG just having a peek around, looking for that pylon placement, not wanting to take too much damage. And his real goal with that Reaper is, of course, to spot the tech going down, see which path Lilbow is going, so that he doesn't headbutt into that prepared defense, so that he knows exactly what he's going into.
I feel like one of the best things about Lilbow's play is that he's capable of doing so many different things. If he thinks that the best thing he can do is play defensive, then he can do that. If he wants to play crazy to surprise his opponent, he can do that. And he can also play very standard, which against ForGG might actually be the worst option. So in this case, he went for a Twilight that he's known to really like. Started it a little bit early before the first Stalker was out, so it got scouted, but he's going to shut down that Reaper at least. That's a big win here for Lilbow. Behind this, though, he's been known to sometimes skip on the Robo, not get detection, get a lot of Blink Stalkers, go across the map to try and kill his opponent. If he was to do that here, he'd have to completely kill ForGG, and I guess as his probes will be dying back at home against the Widow Mine drop that we're going to be seeing from ForGG.
Oh yeah, I mean that would be a very risky play. We will find out in the next 30 seconds or so whether or not that Robo goes down. For now, ForGG setting up some Marines behind the hedge here, preparing to put on that aggression and to receive any Stalker and trap that up against them. The Widow Mine's coming out, the Starport finishing. This is one of those games where it can devolve very quickly. Lilbow is one of the most decisive players who, as you said, Todd, he loves to counterattack here. Now, if he could see everything that we could see about ForGG, what do you think would be the perfect response from Lilbow?
Exactly what he's doing. Throwing down the Robo, then probably adding on some extra gateways. Usually 2 in the first place, more if you want to. They're actually kind of late here in this game. Usually if you want to be aggressive, you were going to start these gateways when Warp Gate is like halfway or 2/3 to being finished. But now, as Warp Gate finishes, Lilbow starts 2 additional gateways. So he's already got that 16 probe saturation on natural. I think he might just start extra gases and maybe go into a 3rd base here from there. Or he can start additional gateways and go all out with something like a 6, 7, sometimes even maybe 8 gates.
So there are still those aggressive options open to him. Meanwhile, at home, ForGG is powering up into that 2nd and 3rd gases, adding on some extra barracks here. He hasn't opted for any aggression just yet, but this is the moment where his medevac is out. It is ready to go, but he does seem to just be hunkering down at the moment on 2 bases.
Yeah, Lilbow proxying a pylon here. This is interesting. I guess he wants to be aggressive after all, even though he's getting these gateways a little bit late here. Do we see a robo base starting? That's going to be one of the big questions. He's still making probes, so it doesn't look like an all-in right now.
It looks like Lilbow is playing very standard there, as you pointed out, Todd. But what about ForGG? He hasn't opted for any of this aggression. It looks a little bit like he's worried right now. I'm wondering, from ForGG's vision, what could have tipped him off here? What is he thinking about going through his head? Or is he simply just saying, I'm not going to die to anything and I'm going to go to the late game?
Yeah, I think that's probably what he thought here. Playing against Lilbow, who's known to make a lot of Blink Stalkers, in this case, did go for them. Oh, actually, Lilbow not paying attention is going to be losing a very important Stalker here in the first place. ForGG, actually, this is, I think, quite brilliant here, the way he's played this, but he needs to be careful not to lose too many SCVs here against this.
Just focus firing these SCVs and Marines. Very precise attack there.
ForGG's saturation on his natural base is kind of bad. He took those gases very early, so he's got so few SCVs there. He played so defensive, and I think he cut SCVs for a little bit of time there. So with the SCVs that he's just lost here, actually he's been just one. He's not doing so well on the work account. 39 SCVs.
A little bit behind on the work account is ForGG. However, Lilbow here with this pressure is getting some nice little pickoffs. Only getting 1 SCV so far, picking off a few Marines. But behind this, we are seeing Lilbow go into Colossus tech. He's adding Colossus range, and he does have a Forge down, though he hasn't started upgrading off it just yet. Looks like he's just very focused on building up with this pressure and really keeping ForGG pinned back. But is this doing enough work? That's a lot of commitment to Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like even though he hasn't killed all that much here, Lilbow, just going for this made ForGG play really far out of his comfort zone, like play way too defensive when usually it's the aggressive player. So now even that army here is going to be spotted. Lilbow might be happy to try and buy himself a little bit of extra time with a snipe on that bunker.
And he's coming in now. He does get the bunker snipe and pull back. The Observer giving him the beautiful map hack sort of vision there. Lilbow sees everything that's going on, and he's just able to run around, buy as much time as he wants. This is the point in the game where ForGG wants to be getting across that map. His stim and combat shields and his 2 medevacs are already out. That's all lining up. He wants to put the pressure on now, and he is going to push over. But Lilbow behind this has Colossus tech on the way.
And he's adding on a lot of gateways. We saw this from Lilbow in the past when he played against Marine Lords last season. He massed units on 2 bases, waited until he had an insane amount of units moved across the map, and then when Marine Lord was ready, Lilbow hid somewhere. But now he was expecting this attack, and that's why he massed on Colossus and Stalkers. Lilbow has been waiting for this to happen to crush it and maybe counterattack.
Absolutely destroying ForGG's timing attack, pulling back the weakened Colossus, blinking on top of one of the medevacs. Only 1 medevac escapes with a slither of hit points.
Yeah, Thermal Lance is going to complete now. And Lilbow, he's going to be counter-attacking here. He's got 61 army supply all of a sudden. He's just swapping a lot of units against 43.
Oh, the Widow Mine hits. One of them does hit. He does blink away from the other. ForGG is out for blood right now. More Stalkers coming in from the south side. He wants to push in with a superior army advantage right now. He has 3 Colossus. This is so much against a 0 Viking count. Oh, a lot of these Stalkers being trapped out front of those rocks, though. Very nice pickups for ForGG. He needs to whittle this force down. He just doesn't have enough fire right there.
Yeah, not having any Vikings as well is not going to help, and Lilbow is going to crush through these forces.
And the Colossus surviving with just a sliver of hit points. Lilbow looking so powerful with this attack. He's got the Observer. He's going to focus down these Widow Mines. He has such a huge army advantage right now, and he is pressing in for the kill.
Yeah, double the army supply here. Lilbow's going to get right in there. Not having any Vikings, this makes it so difficult here for ForGG to hold on. Lilbow read into this perfectly. He defended back at home, now he's counter-attacking in his comfort zone. Doesn't even need to rush in there. There's no Vikings in the production tab right now.
Oh, only Widowmines and Bio against this superior ranged army of Lilbow. He has that +1 attack upgrade right now. A scan going down. ForGG wants to kill that Observer, but he can't quite get it. And oh, he's going to stem forward. He will get the Observer. His follow-up Widowmines will be able to do something, but with the Blink Micro, with 3 Colossus, with absolutely nothing to match them, ForGG is in an absolutely appalling position right now.
I never thought I'd see this. I feel like ForGG right now is looking down at Lilbow. He's like, please finish me, kill me, because I'm hiding behind like, my command center and there's nothing I can do against this army. I know you're going to move in there and kill me. Let it end already.
Pulling into his main base. ForGG is not willing to give up just yet. The blink forward from Lilbow shuts down the orbital command. ForGG actually going for a counter drop play, realizing there is absolutely no way to fight this army. He's going to send half of his units across the map. Anything else popping out, he's going to try and make a valiant stand. But look at the size of that Protoss ball.
Yeah, desperate times, Pig. Now I know ForGG is trolling us because he's just started a command center here in his own base.
Going for the expand at 14 minutes, the retaking of his own natural eventually, but these Stalkers are just pumping their way in so decisively, splitting through ForGG and ripping his production apart. The units try to evacuate.
He's going to try to get a draw. He's going to try to get a draw through sniping those Nexuses, hoping that Lilbow doesn't have the minerals to start another one, and then flies buildings in a corner of the map here.
There are just so many Stalkers, but if he can focus down those Nexuses and there's no more money for buildings and then hide a building in the corner, it'll be fine. But Lilbow is shooting these down so quickly. That number of Stalkers, he is not going to let that happen. Lilbow realizes, prioritizes that, shoots down the factories and starports, and ForGG is looking very doomed.
And Lilbow could actually cancel +1 ground armor and then start a Nexus. He would have enough minerals for that.
It's okay, ForGG cancelled it for him by killing the Forge. Made the decision for him, and with those 10 probes out on the map, Lilbow is in the spirit position, and he does take the first game. 1-0. Clean, quick, precise victory. Exactly the sort of game we were expecting from Lilbow, and he looks very content with how that went. Taking a sip of his water there and kind of reveling in that victory. That was a very nice first map. He does have another one to go. ForGG, though, being a little bit thrown off there and being taken advantage of in that game.
ForGG not too happy here, I think, with how that went down. Definitely didn't expect here, I guess, to be received like this with a huge chunk of Blink Stalkers and Colossus across the map. And this is, I guess, one of the best ways you can play against ForGG, because he loves to go for these attacks here. No matter what, he's always going to move across the map. In this case, didn't send a Marine to try and see what Lilbow had. So he stepped, I guess, across these bushes and where this rock area was, and got met by 2 Colossi and a lot of Blink Stalkers. Lost everything, and then from there, it's just so hard to win. You don't have Vikings. There's 3 Colossi knocking at your front door, and like I said, ForGG was always going to be in trouble from there.
Walking into the trap. Of course, that is only game 1, but it was quick and decisive. Is ForGG going to be able to rally and find out? We're going to find out very soon, right after this very short break. Welcome back to the World Championship Series. We just witnessed Lilbow take a clear and decisive win in Game 1 against ForGG. He is only one game away from repeating his success in last season's round of 16. Is he going to go through again and make it to the finals? We're only seconds away from finding out. Of course, these players, this is such an intense moment for them. It is the last series of the night. They've both been through a couple of games before this, and ForGG there, though, he looked very surprised and thrown off in that game. What can he do differently this time around?
I guess anticipate the master plan of Lilbow, because this is really what put him in trouble.
He walked right into the trap last game around. Is he going to be able to change it up this time? ForGG and Lilbow, and we are going to be diving into Cactus Valley for Game 2. Spawning up here on the right-hand side of Cactus Valley, our Terran representative playing for Team Millennium. It is ForGG.
Diving into cactuses. That doesn't sound very pleasant, Pig.
Well, if you're as brave as this Protoss player down here, you don't care about any of that because your name is Lilbow.
Great comeback.
such a driven player. I mean, Lilbow, like you see him after a winner's interview, and you can see that look on his face. You can imagine him diving into a bunch of cactuses. He just always looks so damn happy, and in a very kind of almost focused, angry way. Like, I will win this game.
Actually, I feel like he'd be more diving towards them, but then at the last second he'd blink out. So, kind of with the Widow Mines.
Widow Mine cactuses. You saw it here first. Of course, only 90 hours. Does sound like a while, but only 90 hours to that cinematic reveal. And not only that, but also the release date of Legacy of the Void is going to be announced this Sunday, just before the finals. Something I'm looking forward to a lot.
Seems like we show it every hour, so I guess only 90 more times.
Only 90 more times. Well, hopefully by the time the show comes on tomorrow, there will be maybe a 16-hour break or so. So that will help it get by. Of course, we are here in Game 2. ForGG is one game away from going down to that elimination match. He doesn't want to go there. He recently has been looking to find that form. He used to be such a consistent player, and while he's still a very frightening threat, he hasn't had that same presence, that same fear. To be playing against a young buck like Lilbow here, who's really getting in his face and shutting him down, ForGG has to be a little bit thrown off. He needs to find something within himself, and he needs to find a way to play, which is going to work against Lilbow's kind of massing up of units and crushing his offense.
It's very interesting because when we see an aggressive player play against a defensive one, you already know what's going to happen. One of them is going to attack, the other one's going to defend. But when two very aggressive players play each other, unless they both play very aggressive and clash all over the place, in which case the game can turn into a slugfest, then it means that one of them, if they want to play differently, is going to be adjusting. In the previous game, it was really ForGG in the start of the game that said, I know you love to play with Blinkstalkers, I'm going to try to defend, sets up defensively, bunker in the main, everything. No real attack from Lilbow, just a little poke at the front, a few SCV sniped, and Lilbow just started pulling ahead in a great way economically, forced this attack behind this from ForGG with a lot of bio and medivacs, and then shut him down hard, countered attack. And in this case, Lilbow went into double gas very quickly here before the second Nexus, so maybe a Stargate here.
Very popular here on Cactus Valley is that Stargate follow-up. We do see it dropping down now for Lilbow. Unfortunately, his Probe Scout is going to be caught by that Reaper, and that's going to shut down Lilbow's vision on the map very early on. Of course, this Reaper coming in, if it sees this Stargate, it's very important. That Mothership Core really wants to try and deny this, but with no Stalker on the way, it looks like the Reaper should be able to get in there and see absolutely everything.
Yeah, usually you want to start a Stalker here before getting the Stargate. We're going to jump into ForGG's vision here. See if he can spot that properly. Right now, it doesn't seem to be too worried about a Stalker. Oh, yeah, actually he is. Pulls back here, so not going to be able to quite see that Stargate just yet.
And, I mean, it looks like he's not worried about there being tech quite
He realized.
He does realize. Oh, Lilbow tries to pull a probe to block the gap. It's slightly too late. Spots the Stargate, but interestingly, there was no unit started out of that. He did catch a glimpse of it just at the end. He did see that Oracle. Obviously, that's going to be the standard build here.
Absolutely.
Going into Oracles. It's not like you see Phoenixes too often, but this here now puts ForGG in that focus of, okay, you want to get over here. You want to start killing workers. He needs to turtle up in terms of getting that anti-air, lock down those mineral lines, and deny this.
Some Protosses, they get Phoenixes because they're convinced there's going to be Widow Mine drops, and that's the way they want to deal with them. But usually Lilbow, every time he goes Stargates, he gets one single Oracle, no more. Goes across the map, makes sure he keeps it alive, which actually in this case, since there are Widow Mines, he's going to have to be very careful, somehow read into ForGG's position here tech-wise. Because Lilbow hasn't scouted much here. The only thing he scouted, like he sent a probe on the top left-hand side that didn't even scout any base. So I think he's kind of guessing that 4GG is across the map. If that Oracle was to get blown up, he'd be in a lot of trouble.
Oh, and there are some Widow Mines hiding. He does see this Widow Mine in the main base, tries to focus it down, doesn't quite get it, runs into the Marines. Lilbow not finding a lot of damage just yet. Oh, there's a Widow Mine hiding in the natural. Oh, he's trying to run around in circles, but he's taking a lot of damage. He does fly out of there, does preserve that. We have to remember this is so important because it's his only detection right now is that Oracle. His Robo's only halfway done. So if a medevac boosts across the map, he needs that Oracle alive.
Lilbow is way too smart to fly an Oracle into a mineral line like this and lose it. He's gonna start a Phoenix production here behind this. This is a little bit uncharacteristic here from him, I feel, but it's not a huge commitment yet. And on this map in particular, it's something that we've seen Protosses like Parting do in the past, where you get at least 2 Phoenixes. And right now, since he knows that there's going to be a Widow Mine drop most likely no matter what, getting 2 Phoenixes is going to allow him not to just defend, but as soon as he's defended the first initial drop and he goes, say, into a third base, you can put those Phoenixes on patrol between your bases. So in this case, on the right-hand side of his main and north of his natural. If Lilbow was to do that, he'd be protecting the main 2 avenues through which I guess 4GG could drop later on down
Giving
the line.
himself that vision, that forewarning against that drop play, which is so prevalent in this matchup. Such a good plan. And ooh, behind this, a double Forge going down, as well as a Twilight Council and the Robotics Bay. Lilbow looks like he is really powering up for those upgrades, those big power Colossus units. He wants to go to that late game stage. Looks like he's very focused on playing a much more standard play. No very fast blink this game, no aggressive options. It's all just about the Oracle scouting, harassing here and there, and then him getting to that later stage.
I think it's the first time I've seen 4GG hit the brakes like this and just really turtle, try and play safe. And I feel like it's not even just because he's playing Lilbow that he's doing that, but it's because in the last season when he played against Kung Fu Panda, he tried to play super aggressive, got shut down hard, counter, died pretty much instantly. So it seems like he's maybe learned from that and wants to play a little bit more defensive so he doesn't find himself in a tricky situation where he's gonna kind of lose and not be able to help it. But in this case, it might be wrong to try and slow down this much.
Oh, going for the pickup on the medevacs, trying to drop the Marines on top of the Oracle to snipe it down, but Lilbow is too fast for that. Puts the revelation on these units. He can now see anywhere they go, and he zooms off into that corner of the map. A very nice reaction there from Lilbow, and he's even dropping cannons in his mineral lines. Lilbow looks like he really wants to lock down on 2 bases, creating the shell around him, building those fortifications as he builds the Protoss city. This is such a good game plan because the Protoss, as they get bigger and bigger, right, it's all about let's receive the attacks. And we've seen 4GG, he always gets antsy, even though he's kind of backed off a little bit here. I mean, he wants to attack eventually, right, Todd? That's his kind of comfort zone.
Definitely. As soon as he's going to have more medivacs, more army, he's going to want to move out, try and make something happen. But I feel like with what happened in the previous game where he got shut down hard and counter-attacked, he's taking it a lot more slow here in this game. Went for racks 4 and 5, which is kind of standard before adding on the 3rd command center.
Oh, Phoenixes looking like they might intercept these medevacs, or are they just barely, oh, changing directions. Lilbow, he spots them, the 2 Phoenix you were talking about, intercepting that drop. What a nice pickup. Going to be completely aware of everything that 4GG is sending in his direction.
Yeah, and I think from there, Lilbow is just kind of continuing with Colossus production, making sure he's safe on 2 bases in the first place. Maybe start his 2-2, kind of try and make that lineup very well with the charge, and then goes into a 3rd base very, very soon here. He's going up to, I think it's 6 gateways with the one that he made in his main. Lilbow has very good split, by the way, of units against Terrans that drop, unlike 99% of the Protosses out there that just die to those medivac drops. Usually Lilbow, he leaves always enough in his main, sometimes even some Colossus and Sentries to help against those medivac drops while he's taking a 3rd base. And on a map like this is a quality that you need if you want to play up to 3 bases. But so far, we don't have a 3rd base here out of Lilbow, still.
4GG's 3rd base has just finished up. Lilbow was doing some sneaky shenanigans, lifting up the SCVs with the Phoenix and just delaying it. But it is time now for him to move down. He wants to establish this nexus, but look at this supply. 4GG on this map, we can see him setting up on the north side and the south side. He wants to come in from the right-hand side as well as the top, but Lilbow is ready to receive this. Look at this foresight.
You know who you can't harass and drop in StarCraft? The AI when you play against the AI, because it's got damn units everywhere. And if you look at his main from Lilbow, it looks like an AI. So you got a bunch of in-control cannons here that will help against those drops. Some Zealots. 4GG's cannons, he's like, what the hell is this? You've got Zealot, Stalkers, and the Colossus.
But they're not right up against the edge. He's going to just try and drop right into this. The Colossus raining down fire upon this. The Stalkers not being able to focus the Medivacs. And the Zealots there, the Mothership Core is out of position, so it can't focus that Nexus Cannon just yet. But that Colossus is just raining down so much damage. And so far, this has been a brilliant hold from Lilbow.
Yeah, he's targeting the Medivacs here with some of the Stalkers. This has been shut down eventually. ForGG did trade a bunch, but I don't think he's going to be able to snag the third base here, which is what he had hoped to achieve here with this. ForGG is pulling really far ahead in supply, though. In this game, he's definitely not missed a single beat here with his production.
ForGG's macro powering up this huge army still sitting at home in the midst of this. 3 more barracks going down. And we are actually seeing Lilbow making a little bit of an error there, only just starting to build probes on multiple Nexuses. He was building them on only one.
He queued so many probes on his Nexuses here. So many of them. 3, 4. So I think he kind of fell apart here production-wise for a little moment. Having 2-2 this early, though, really is going to help in the upcoming fights. But usually, if there is a huge supply difference, it's not always going to matter. ForGG, if he had done something like pulling SCVs, might have been able to do really well. Or even play very aggressive with his Medivacs, Maru style. Do an attack on the third base, drop on top of the Colossus, while there is almost always going to be units in the main here for Lilbow.
But now it looks like ForGG wants to start pressing across. Once again, an army on the north, and another large army moving down to attack the main.
Hitting the north and the south.
The north and the south, the north and the south, the back and forth. 1-2 punch. And it is 2-2 upgrades, though, for Lilbow against only 1-1 of ForGG. ForGG needs to use his superior numbers here to get the damage done. This dropping right in the Widow Mines, taking the Zealots out. There's a lot of Marauders and Marines left. Only a single Colossus and 2 cannons, and they're dropping very quickly. Does Lilbow have enough units? That Colossus is getting dangerously low. It is running as fast as it can. Oh, beautiful micro from Lilbow, just barely hangs on, and the third base remains safe in the midst of this. The supply gap is beginning to be closed. Lilbow's defense is so solid.
Oh, needs to not walk into those Widow Mines here, though. Lilbow is about to have... He's got 7 Colossi pick. If he only warps in Stalkers now and moves across the map, I guess we might go into a base trade, and it could be difficult for him, but there is a chance he ends the game. The thing is, he's still quite a bit behind in supply. I think he realized that, so he's just going to go into Storm instead.
Lilbow going for the super high-tech Protoss ball. Meanwhile, ForGG is staying on Bio and Vikings. What does he have to do to close this game out? How can he fight so many Colossi?
He's raising the stakes every time. I think ForGG picked up on the fact that there is only one single Colossus in that main. So he's going to try to abuse that with huge drops, and in this case, we've got an unhealthy amount of Medivacs here headed for the main base.
That is 5 full Medivacs and a 6th one there on red HP. But there's not nearly as many units in the main base this time. The Colossus is already on red life. ForGG is going for the drop right on top of this army, right on top of this Colossus. Lilbow's Colossus goes down almost instantly. He's trying to bring units up from the third, but he doesn't have mana for a Nexus Cannon. His units are going down very fast. And finally, ForGG has found his opening.
Yeah, Lilbow sends half of his army here from the third base into that main to try and defend it, but the Nexus, he's gonna go down here. ForGG targets it. He's only on 1-1 upgrades against 2-2 for the longest time, but he's got so much more army that it doesn't matter.
Oh, at the third base at the same time, he pushes forward, but Lilbow's splits are so good, leaves just enough units to hang on there, puts the Nexus back down in his main base. Lilbow is trying to hang on. He's got Storm finished now, but he needs to get High Templar out.
Oh, two Colossus out of position, trying to fight against some of this bio there.
Oh, loses a Colossus for just a few bio units.
Okay,
Lilbow's starting to get stretched.
He's making the classic Protoss mistake here. He's run out of patience. He's going to start moving across the map. We got a big Doom drop setting up for ForGG on the bottom right-hand side of the map. Whereas Lilbow, he left nothing in his main here for the defense. He's going all out. He wants to attack. He wants to try and do some damage. He's hoping that this is not happening, but this is happening. ForGG is going to be dropping his base in a second. The thing is, this army is still very scary here by Lilbow because he's got a crazy amount of Colossus with 4. Against not that many Vikings, but ForGG being on 3 starports, he's pumping out a lot of those right now.
He doesn't have an observer with his army though, so Lilbow is actually really going to struggle to clear up all these Widow Mines. They're slowing him down so much, and ForGG is just diving into the main base. He's clearing up everything. He's already started clearing out Lilbow's base, while Lilbow is umming and ahhing. He's stuck, pushed back by these Widow Mines.
Yeah, Charge never actually started this game, so I guess Lilbow, instead of getting Zealots, he should just get a lot of Stalkers just to try and make sure he can cover his Colossus. Not having Ghost though. There is quite a few High Templars. Lilbow, don't lose your Observer. Oh, he flies into the turret.
Looks like he will be able to defend the main base eventually. Lilbow not being forced completely all in, not into the base trade, but ForGG realizing this is sending another platoon across the map. His units in the main hanging on as well as they can, killing so many of these Stalkers.
Lilbow caught a bunch of very important Widow Mines here, just in front of the base of ForGG. He's coming back right now. Those units, they had to steam so many times, they're so low. But is there enough here for Lilbow to properly defend against this?
This is buying so much time for ForGG. ForGG still has 3 full mining bases at home against just the 2 of Lilbow. Focuses down the robotics facility, but all of his bio on red HP going down just to Blink Stalkers. A great cleanup for Lilbow.
Lilbow has no observer out on the map, so even though he somehow cleaned this up, I'm pretty sure he wants to move across the map right now to try and finish it with his High Templars and Colossus. Oh, he remembers that he has a target, so he starts an Oracle. Lilbow still trying to be aggressive here with this. He realizes that if he just sits back, he's going to be getting attacked the entire game.
Oh, but Viking swap has happened now for ForGG. He has 8 Vikings in the air against the 4 Colossi of Lilbow. It is no longer such a huge superior tech advantage. It's all about the Storms supporting the Colossi here.
He killed a Widow Mine through attacking his own Stalker. Lilbow, does he have enough here? He's got a few Storms, 4 of them with these 2 High Templars on full mana.
And he's coming in. This push is so important. Lilbow has not rebuilt his main base. He's only got 2 bases mining. He needs to make it happen here. ForGG pulling the SCVs, maintaining the defensive arc. He says, if you're going to attack me, we're going to do it on my footing. You're going to have to attack into my defensive position. ForGG not only setting up this fortress of bio, but the Vikings positioning on the south side. They want to get on top of that cliff. They want to be the sniper on top of these Colossi.
Lilbow has got a 4th Colossus on the way and another High Templar with pretty much full energy. So there's going to be 6 Storms that he can work with against this army with no Ghosts big.
Oh, he's going in for the engagement. The Vikings focusing these Colossi down, but the Storms quite good so far. The bio spreading back. This position for ForGG is absolutely monstrous. Some of the Storms whiffing there. All the Colossus are down, and the bio is pushing its way in. Only 1 Storm left after this. That is the final Storm. It does work, but there is nothing left for Lilbow on the ground. ForGG stands strong and he withstands the storm. He weathers the storm.
Yeah, ForGG being able to, I guess, preset his army here, set up a concave before the attack even hits, was massive. He had way more army in the end with all the reinforcements coming in. And I guess we're still having a better economy than Lilbow. Now he's going to be flying his orbital command here to his additional base that he lost earlier. Lilbow tries to expand elsewhere.
Oh, Lilbow looking desperate right now. This small squad of Stalkers is all he's got left. These guys better be Spartans because there is an army of Persians walking down in them. There are just so many Terran on the map. ForGG has so much on the map right now.
Not having charge is killing him here. If he had charge against this, maybe he could have made a bunch of Zealots and chased it down. But right now, Lilbow is only on Blink Stalkers. Against this many Marauders and Medivacs, he's not going to be able to do well ever.
They just don't have those Zealot boots on just yet. The +3 attack even kicking in for ForGG behind this. He's managed to catch up on those upgrades. Lilbow building only Immortals and trying to expand to the north side of the map right now. But Lilbow's army is looking very desperate.
Yeah.
ForGG has the better tech. He's got the better upgrades, and his army is just looking very complete right now.
He's going to need some insane Storms here to somehow stay in this. He ForGG remembered that he had 4 Widow Mines in Lilbow's main. He might try and use those and move them a little bit around, because right now he's totally forgot about those for the longest time. Where are those 3 Vikings going here?
Ooh, a couple of Vikings going to join up with the Widow Mines in the main. I have absolutely no idea, Todd. A little bit of a bizarre maneuver here from ForGG.
Oh,
maybe
ForGG scans the extra base.
Oh, wow.
This is massive. Now he's going to know, but Lilbow might want to try and make something happen himself here. He's got a bunch of Storms to work with and a lot of army. Oh my god, he rebuilds quite nicely.
Oh, but there is a lot of bio here, and this is only part of ForGG's force. Meanwhile, his drop is already starting to work on that base on the north side. ForGG doing a tactical retreat, trying to buy time.
This is it. Lilbow has to go all in here.
Lilbow trying to make it happen with this one last army. Those 2 Storms are so valuable, but ForGG just won't give them a chance to work. The Zealots walking ever so slowly. This bio was just staying out of range, only copping the edge of that storm. There's only 1 Storm remaining. Lilbow's army is running out of steam, and ForGG, meanwhile, is making mincemeat of his production back home. He is tearing it apart.
Yeah, Lilbow doesn't even know where to go. He's going to dispatch a few Zealots here in that mineral line. Back at home, he's still losing a lot. Storm this army here, ForGG, but there is enough Marauders here to maybe kite a little bit, but ForGG is not paying attention. He's looking at Lilbow's army right now. Oh, he's going to drop outside of his main here to try and come from multiple sides to finish it big. He's got 111 army to 66. These Storms are going to have to be massive here for Lilbow.
ForGG says, how do you counter Storms? Guess what? You don't. You just go around it. Look at this Marauder micro. Absolutely stunning play from ForGG.
I think he lost the High Templar here to that Widow Mine. Lilbow losing one of his most important units here to a Widow Mine that was there. Hasn't had detection for a very long time now.
Here comes the Doom drop. 6 full medevacs emptying on Lilbow's base. forces him to tap out of that game, and ForGG equalizes it, making the score 1-1 in this best-of-3 series. You could see the relief on ForGG's face after that one. He had to work hard for it. Lilbow not looking happy with that at all. He looked so solid for the early stage of that game, but at some point ForGG just managed to winch open that weakness in Lilbow's defense, and he just opened him up.
Absolutely. This is what I was talking about here. When you play against somebody like ForGG as Lilbow, you either shut him down and then do something like a counterattack, or then you can also use some of your craziness here as Lilbow, who's got a lot of builds to try and surprise him. But if you try and play standard, even though in this game it looked pretty good at first, he might be able to pick you apart. And in this case, that's really what happened. Those drops, they did too much, and in the end, it started really adding up. As soon as you lose one Nexus, you're just so far behind. So Lilbow, he did the classic Protoss thing where you fall too far behind, you're like, I have to attack. He attacked, and in the end, he made it look pretty good for some time.
That was a damn close game.
Yeah. That big attack, though, into the concave, the preset concave of ForGG is, I think, what lost it for him.
Such great buying of time by ForGG, though, balancing up his options there. He absolutely realized exactly what he had to do in that game. Of course, we are about to go into Game 3, find out who can make it through in first place in this group right after this very quick break. Can ForGG bring it back? He's one game closer. He's equalized with Lilbow, last season's runner-up. Almost Royal Roader, almost champion. And ForGG, he's got a lot on the line. His reputation, he's been around the scene for so long. He's been a champion. He's surprised everyone last year at DreamHack Winter. He's made it close in WCS, but this is the season where he wants to close out that championship. He's got his chance here as we dive into Game 3. Spawning here on Coda. It is the final match, the most important match of the day. Of course, our first player, our blue Terran contender spawning the top left of Coda. It is Team Millennium's ForGG. He has to make it through his opponent. Spawning here on the bottom right-hand side of Coda. It is the Protoss player, Team Millennium's Lilbow. Such an important match it is here for both of these players. Lilbow looking uncharacteristically very flustered after that game. He has been known to have nerve issues in the past, but it's something he's improved with a lot, especially last season. He had that confidence, that self-possessed character, which allowed him to just push through opponent after opponent. I'm not sure if he's going to keep it together after that game, though. He looked quite flustered.
I know what bothers him. Clearly that defense. He anticipated going a lot better, and in the end those drops eventually in the main picked him apart. There was Widow Mines in there, he lost the Nexus, and then from there it becomes another game. You have to remake that Nexus. At the same time he was attacking, kinda hoping that ForGG eventually would slow down, but we were really in that moment in the game where ForGG is very comfortable with attacking a lot across the map, and in the same time making sure that he's producing enough units that even if he gets attacked back at home, he's going to be able to go into some kind of base trade, maybe sometimes even defend with an attack from multiple sides. So Lilbow, we've seen him in some of the series throwing some crazy aggressive builds. He hasn't done one of those just yet in the series. Is this the time now on Coda?
It's quite a small map, and ForGG wanting to be very safe here, sending the SCV across for that early scout. Of course, it is really a matchup which is defined by Terran players needing to scout their Protoss opponent a lot in the early game, whilst the Protoss player is a little bit more focused on what their opening choice is going to be and trying to hide it from the Terran. Lilbow not probe scouting just yet, as is very typical, and going to send 2 probes down to his natural, looking to make sure he can get this Nexus down. He doesn't want an engineering bay block to happen here.
Yeah, when you have such an early scout here by ForGG and you see no second assimilator, or you already know as a Protoss that the Terran's going to be trying to block you for as long as possible. Nicely done here by ForGG, buys a lot of time, and the Zealot was already cancelled here. So if he had gone for an eBay, that would have blocked Lilbow for the longest amount of times.
Oh, ForGG playing it safe though, not committing to that when he already was so damaged. And now the Reaper comes in. Looks like he's going to try and get some kills. The Mothership Core just coming out, but oh, the Reaper getting a probe very low. But the Mothership Core doing her duty, protecting her children, does push the Reaper back. It's a situation here now. We do see, of course, on ForGG's side, he has not only dropped the expand, but he's going for the factory follow-up. Yeah. He's been opting for that a lot in these games. He seems very keen on Widow Mines, both defensively and offensively. They're such a diverse unit. They counteract Stalkers very well, Oracles very well. But for now, ForGG wants to see what do you have in plan, Lilbow? What do you think he's going to go for here, Todd?
ForGG, he really hasn't been bringing it in terms of aggression early on in those games. When he went for Medivacs, Widow Mines, he hasn't dropped in the first 2 games. So if he was to do this here, it'd be really interesting to see how well Lilbow can defend this time around. And I'm not surprised at all here to see a Twilight Council go down once again from Lilbow, who's known to love his Blink Stalker play here, no matter what. Even when he opens with an Oracle, usually a lot of the time it's going to be for Blink Stalkers behind it, and he's really good with them. In the previous game, honestly, I think he played it pretty well. It's really that split with the Colossus, and sending all of them to the third base that played tricks here to him. If he had stayed a little bit more grouped here in his main, maybe sent a second Colossus there for the defense at first, and then down the line reach Storm and a lot of High Templars, it would have been so much easier for him headed into maybe, you know, that 4-base situation, or even any time when you want to attack, if you have Templars in places, they can really defend very well against counter drops.
Losing those 2 Phoenixes earlier on may have played into it as well, having committed to those and then not being able to get that scouting information of where ForGG was coming from. But Lilbow, Blink Stalkers, and Coda, this is something we've seen 1,000 times before. It's something he knows every in and out of doing this style, and we do see 2 very fast gateways going down before Robo for Lilbow. Yeah,
which is a big difference here from map number 1, where he went for the Robo and then dropped the gateways later down the line. So he might want to be aggressive here. We already see a probe move out on the map, go all the way around on the left-hand side to make sure he can proxy a bunch of pylons there.
Looking to be able to put on that aggression, or at least the counter-aggression. He does now drop his Robo. Interestingly enough, though, out of ForGG, it's not Widow Mines, it's Hellions. The old Hellion Marine drop play. He can either elevator everything into the main, or he can just drop in the back of the main, run those Hellions in the front. But cute, out of Lilbow, he has that nice little wall off at the natural. That Stalker, that looks like it's a solid block.
He's going for the barbecue here. Is ForGG. The Stalkers in the main are going to try to do their best against Marines, and that Medivac, Photon Overcharge in the natural. ForGG is being blocked, and having 3 gateways, Lilbow's going to be able to whop in a lot of Stalkers.
Oh, focus firing the Stalker block with the Marines. Beautiful play from ForGG, but oh, Lilbow surrounding the Hellions with the Stalkers, shuts them all down before they can kill any probes, and this attack has been flaunted. A perfect defense from Lilbow.
What a sick defense here. Only loses 3 probes. I would have lost 30, Pig.
You'd be tapping out of this game already, as would I, but Lilbow is made of stiffer stuff.
And behind this, he's going to be counter-attacking no matter what. You shut down this kind of attack with Hellions and Marines, you know that your opponent's not going to have much across the map. Lilbow is going to be whopping in Stalkers across the map, 3x3, looking to be aggressive. He's getting his first Observer, and this is going to be oh so scary here for ForGG, who anticipates this and gets Siege Tanks.
Lilbow has the round of 8 in his sights as he commits everything to all of these Stalkers. He wants to go for a big push. ForGG right now is quivering in his boots. He realizes the situation he's in, and he's building Siege Tanks, knowing they're his last desperate chance at hanging on. He knows how powerful this attack is going to be.
You know what Siege Tanks do against this amount of Stalkers? They die in one volley, Pig.
He's got a couple Vikings actually spotting for the cliff. Oh, very cute maneuver from ForGG. Actually going to delay this attack a little bit, and it notifies him. Does lose a Viking though. And oh, Lilbow going for a Forge behind this. He's not going all in, even starting a charge. Looks like ForGG's defense is actually, it's kind of throwing Lilbow off.
Being able to spot this here, he was going to try to recall a little bit too late, Lilbow. Sorry, maybe should have gone for a time warp instead. But those Stalkers, they're still going to be killing SCVs left and right. Behind is the charge. Really hints that Lilbow might try and go into High Templars instead, even though he can go Colossus as well if he wants to, but economy-wise, this is going to be great.
Massive damage going down, does manage to get a Siege Tank, but he's got to get out of it. Oh, he almost gets the second Siege Tank, doesn't quite manage to focus it down, but these Stalkers are so agile. This is a real hit squad here, looking to absolutely shut down ForGG, but they get cornered. The Blink's on cooldown, they can't get out of there just yet. They try to blink out the front. Oh, and only 3 Stalkers escape at the end of the day. Who won out of that trade? I can't even tell.
Well, the fact that he killed a bunch of SCVs was nice for Lilbow at first, but then losing all of these Stalkers definitely is going to give him a lot less map presence. Like, look, these guys are not going to achieve anything anymore.
He's hungry for that win, getting a little bit overeager. Lilbow trying to get a bit too aggressive there. Interestingly, going Charge and Immortals behind this with the armor upgrade. A very interesting composition mix-up. It'll be absolutely fantastic versus the Siege Tank Marine that we've seen so far from ForGG.
This is a little bit of an MC-esque situation here for Lilbow, where he's getting a lot of Gateways units, a bunch of Immortals as well. I guess minus the Sentries, because usually MC always got a bunch of Sentries with this. But I really don't think that Lilbow needed Sentries against this, because there wasn't enough bio to threaten him anyway. And now he goes for a Dark Shrine. Already as a Robo, there is no way ForGG is gonna go turrets if he doesn't see that Dark Shrine. So there is a chance that Lilbow sends a Prism across the map and tries to do a lot of damage here with DTs in which case, if he's able to reach those mineral lines at a time there is no turrets and no scans, ForGG is gonna be in a world of trouble.
ForGG's stim is only about 1/5 of the way along. His upgrades have been so slowed down by this tech route he went with the defensive Siege Tanks to hang on. ForGG is looking like he is so far away from securing a 3rd base. It's nowhere on the cards for him right now. He doesn't even have a 3rd command center started. Meanwhile, even though Lilbow's gone for this kind of odd composition, he's got a 3rd Nexus finished, 55 probes on the map. Lilbow is looking to be in a very strong economic position in this game.
This is a huge investment though, the Dark Templars. If this gets shut down, he's going to be in so much trouble because he's not going to have either the splash damage of Colossus or High Templars. And then when Terran reaches a certain army supply, say 60 plus, it's so hard to deal with this without either of those, either Colossus or High Templars. So in this case, Lilbow is going to have to do damage with this. Spots the 3rd base here, starting with his probe. No Warp Prism was made, which is, I think, a little bit surprising. Usually you always want to try and do a DT drop.
The DT Shrine is finished, and ForGG going to push into the middle of the map. Gets a Stalker for his trouble there. Does pick that up, and ForGG still in a very defensive posture, very turtled up. But DTs are the last thing he's thinking about right now. Lilbow, of course.
There's not many scans available. There is only a single one in the main here for ForGG. So DTs are being warped in right now in the 3rd base. They're going to start heading for those mineral lines, Pig. And Lilbow,
wow.
This is a big move here. This could do a lot. This could end the game instantly here. ForGG is not ready. Does he use a mill? He starts a turret in the main. He needs to kill at least 2 Dark Templars with 1 single scan here and try and get those turrets ASAP.
Oh, he does get one of the DTs with the scan in the main, the second one going down. Oh no! He leaves it! The DT survives, gets out of that scan radius just barely in time. The 3rd base has been killed in the midst of this, and the DT in the natural has killed 11 probes, 12 SCVs. Oh, meanwhile, Lilbow is posturing. He wants to come in with the frontal attack behind this. Look at this, the DTs are just ripping everything apart. There's just no detection right now.
Yeah, this is not going to stop here. Lilbow is going to keep on sending in some DTs. They do get scanned and killed. Lilbow's building up quite a bit of a bank behind this, but he did go for a Robo Bay, which is going to allow him to finally go for Colossus. And ForGG being stuck on 2 bases here is going to restart a command center in his main, but he's in a world of trouble there. Having taken so much damage here, he lost so many SCVs. He's down to 43 against 55 probes across 3 bases.
Lilbow, he had the taste of victory in his mouth there, but seeing the defensive position in the natural, seeing that he killed the 3rd base, he actually managed to contain himself, staying calm. He pulled back and he's decided to expand tech up, and he's going to go defensive. He's going to say, this is a sure thing. If I play this out defensively and deflect anything you throw my way, in a couple of minutes' time, I will have an unstoppable army.
Lilbow's ready though. He's got enough in the main, enough in the 3rd base here with all of those Immortals, with now being rejoined by Colossus. Left the Mothership Core in the main here this time around. The previous game took a bunch of damage because he wasn't ready with the photon overcharge. If Lilbow can get 3 Colossus out here, he's going to be in fantastic position. Sends in a bunch of Zealots here to try and counterattack, to force ForGG to attack into him very soon.
What a good play from Lilbow. The Zealot counterattack kills a bunch of Marines there. It's keeping ForGG pinned on 2 base. Meanwhile, though, ForGG's Bioforce is getting large. He's coming in with a 2-pronged attack. The 3rd base, his force gets repelled by Lilbow's Stalkers. Lilbow's splits looking very good, but his Colossus range has only just kicked in. He's only got 2 Colossus. He needs to be in the right positions at the right time.
Yeah, trying to Doom drop in the main here. There goes that in-control cannon, but there's going to be enough units, I think, on the ground for Lilbow to defend this. He's got a bunch of Stalkers. If he blinks forward, he's going to be able to snipe one of those medivacs.
Focus firing the full HP medevac. Beautiful play from Lilbow, and ForGG's attacks are floundering right now. He knows that Lilbow has the superior economy. He needs to make something happen, and he needs to do it soon. He's bringing the last vestiges of his reinforcements across the map. Lilbow here splitting his units up masterfully. Look at this, it's a dance between his bases to be in the right spot at the right time. But does he realize that ForGG is grouping up at the front for the big push?
There's 3 Colossi against a lot of ground army and only 2 Vikings here pick. ForGG is going for it here. I guess he has no choice. He needs to make something happen now before the critical mass is there for Lilbow, who really lacks Archons, but he's warped in another DT here.
Oh, going to pick away at this army, force the scans out. Oh, ForGG's pushing his way in, but Lilbow coming down from behind from the high ground on the 3rd base. The Colossus up front and center, actually getting focus fired. 1 Colossus goes down, 2 more DTs in the fray. A scan does go down. ForGG realizes what's up, but those Immortals anchoring are destroying the Marauders. That is 6 Immortals, killing absolutely everything. The siege tanks go down. ForGG is forced to lift with his tail between his legs, and he has to turn tail and run.
He's been pushed back. You can tell Lilbow's nervous. He's building up such a big bank. He's actually gonna chase a little bit of a position here, lose a bunch of Stalkers, but I think Lilbow wants to try and finish it. He's gonna warp in a lot of units here across the map, being mostly Stalkers. Lilbow has had enough, and with pushing back this last attack, he's gonna want to try and make sure he gets enough to finish it with his Colossus and Immortal counts.
Look at how bruised that Terran army is. It's trying to run home, but units are running in from behind. The Widowmine shots going just off on Immortal shields. This army is huge from Lilbow, and he knows you still don't have a 3rd base. If I just warp in some more units, I am going to be able to bully you out of this game. Lilbow looking set to go through, and oh, focus firing on the Stalker, just like he did before. Kills the Widowmine, even though he has no detection present. What a beautiful move.
And ForGG, as much as he wants to take the 3rd base, I don't think he realized that he's in enemy territory if he goes there. There is a bunch of pylons. This is literally half of Ire City here, as Lilbow definitely would be happy with warping in a bunch of Dark Templars or even Unity if he wanted to fight there. ForGG again investing everything into a huge Doom drop.
It is the most bruised Doom drop we've seen in a while, but Lilbow is completely out of position right now. ForGG's taking a 3rd base behind this, but this drop has to do huge damage. Lilbow's coming back, does lose a gateway, loses the Dark Templar Shrine, but the Colossus splash damage is massive. ForGG stimming onto the Colossus, takes 2 of them down. The 3rd Colossus drops. Oh my god, this is a huge pickup for ForGG, killing all 4 Colossi and getting out with 2 full medevacs.
Yeah, he's completely reset the Colossus count here. Lilbow is down to 0. He's got 1 about to come out, and with those 2 gateways that Lilbow just made in his main, I wonder actually if he wants to attack or just try and take a 4th and slow down the game. Because right now Lilbow, he's gonna drop down a 2nd Robo. He wants to rebuild his Colossus count entirely. He's on 2-1 upgrades against 1-1, but ForGG, he finally feels comfortable enough here to start 2-2 upgrades. Lilbow is so indecisive. There's so much on the line here. Whoever wins qualifies as 1st place finisher in this group.
Lilbow did already take down Jaedong. If he can take down ForGG again, this is a beautiful run straight through to those playoffs. It puts him in prime position to make the finals one more time, but he's taking it patiently. He seems very afraid of getting over-eager. In the past, Lilbow has been known as a player who, when he gets in these positions, these high-pressure ones, he just attacks and attacks and attacks. ForGG showed in Game 1 that he was ready for that. Lilbow now is taking it much more calm, much more slowly, and he's just going to try and reset, build the 4th Nexus, get more Colossus out, adding the +2 attack now on his Forge. But ForGG, looking to posture around the sides of the map again, gonna come in and use that Terran mobility. I'm not sure if Lilbow has the numbers to spread accordingly to defend these different angles.
It's very hard, because wherever Lilbow sets up, ForGG can just pick up and, for example, drop in the main if there is nothing there. If there is something there, then he can completely ignore the main and attack elsewhere. But right now he's gonna get chased down a little bit. His ForGG needs to be careful. Gonna be trying to hit on the left-hand side with a lot of bio plus Widow Mines. which I don't think Lilbow's ready for right now.
Lilbow has a huge supply, but a lot of army is not down here on the south side, bringing some Stalkers and Zealots. They will buy precious time, but he's got units spread across 4 separate bases, and Lilbow has to defend here. ForGG pushing in. He's obliterating these Zealots so far. The Widowmine shot takes out the Stalker. Lilbow desperately trying to get down there, but trying to leave defense at the 4th base at the same time. Oh, there's nothing guarding these Colossus. Is ForGG going to pounce? Looks like the south side is where he's deciding to commit. As the units get stimmed though, the Immortals do hold strong once more.
Yeah, the Immortals on the left-hand side might be in trouble, but ForGG somehow picks up. I guess he knows that there's no observer there, and he's going to have a bunch of Widowmines to work with. The drop in the main going to get shut down. I think Lilbow, he needs quite badly here Templar Archives.
Lilbow's supply is actually only on the same level as ForGG's right now, but he does spend his money, warps in 20 supply in the blink of an eye.
He's getting very close to max out, but ForGG finally hitting 2-2 might be able to trade very well here. And those Widowmines, they are so scary here against no observer on the left-hand side. ForGG is going to be getting right back in there.
He's pushing in. He's taking a great fight on the left-hand side, obliterating these units. They go down very quickly. Lilbow struggling here to keep up. ForGG's multitasking coming from every side. All the units leave the main base just as ForGG's force jumps in there. ForGG is pulling Lilbow around.
Wow. Hitting the west, hitting the east, all over the place. ForGG is dropping, doing a ton of damage wherever he finds. Too little amount of units here for Lilbow every single time because he's just so hard to keep up with the speed of those medivacs.
But we have to remember how desperate this is for ForGG. I mean, he's still somehow got a shot in this game. He looked so far behind earlier, but even though he's only on 46 workers, up against 66 just a minute ago, he is still equal. He's still got a bigger army supply, he's got 2-2, and he's somehow finding a way to outposition Lilbow's superior force.
Lilbow's hanging in there, but I feel like any second now he's going to lose too much to eventually do the proper hold that he needs.
And ForGG coming in again. Warping in sentries is Lilbow, feeling the exposure of these Colossi, and a Widowmine shot kills all 3 sentries. The Colossus not helping. ForGG is starting to pick Lilbow apart here, showing such masterful multitasking. Oh wow, Lilbow struggling so hard here. And ForGG is still on 46 workers. Look at that. His 4th base isn't saturated at all. He's only on 2-2. He doesn't have a single Viking.
And he finally starts doing claw. He thought, hey, this might be a good time. I have 9 Widowmines. I've been making them the entire game, so going to be adding that here. Lilbow had no observer, but now he's got 4 with his army.
Lilbow looking like he's feeling the pressure right now. He feels like he needs to get back across the map.
There's nothing. Lilbow's going for it. There is nothing back at home to defend on that 3rd base here for Lilbow. That Nexus is already injured, so he's going to go for the attack. He's going to hope to catch this chunk of army here from ForGG to try and close out the game instantly.
Oh, trying to get on top is Lilbow. He's got the observers with him this time. He will not be delayed. 4, 5 Colossi in that army. ForGG only just assaulting the 3rd base now, but he is going to snipe down that undefended Nexus. Lilbow looking like, oh, and at the same time, the 4th base being shut down by a Widowmine drop, even losing the Colossus there. Lilbow's economy is completely shredded. He needs to make it happen with this army.
Oh, his army is getting attacked across the map. And the Stalkers were out of position as well, some Zealots, but ForGG doesn't have enough here to combat all of these Colossi. And Lilbow's going to be getting right in there here.
Devolving into absolute chaos. Who can hold it together in this situation? Lilbow's army is looking impenetrable, but ForGG's force is somehow outmaneuvering, picking away at Lilbow's economy and just ripping apart everything he's got at home. Lilbow's army is looking smaller and smaller as ForGG picks away at it.
Oh my god, across the map there's Widowmines up that ramp. The Medivacs are going to try and leave the rest of the units behind, I guess.
Oh,
try and escape.
ForGG is saying, this is how I'm going to make it happen. I can at least force a draw, if not completely base trade and take you out. Lilbow's force at home has no Colossi with it. He's just edging his way forward at the front. He doesn't know that ForGG is actually sending so many units home.
And ForGG is actually flying one of his orbital on the left-hand side here in the corner of the map. Might be playing for the win or a draw here already.
Oh, looks like the drop on the cliff. ForGG is going to deny all the mining. This massive Marauders with Medivac, Stalkers and Sentries cannot go up against that. Looks like ForGG is showing his hand, showing he wants to do that. This is the only mining base of Lilbow. If he loses this base, then he will not be able to stop ForGG from forcing the draw.
Lilbow realized that the entire main of ForGG here was evacuated, so he He left a bunch of units there to finish the job, but across the map he's going to be sending back a lot of Stalkers, plus his 2 Colossi here against no Vikings, against this Bioforce.
Oh,
I think Lilbow might be
Colossus.
doing it.
Wow, he's going to be able to do it. The instincts of Lilbow, realizing that this was a base trade scenario. ForGG had given up on facing his army, and Lilbow has now pulled home. He saved that one base. He's going to push into the main and obliterate the last Marauders. Every last unit goes down for ForGG, and Lilbow proceeds in first place through the playoffs. What a win! You can see the relief on his face. Lilbow with such an impressive feat there. Just looking so calm in the face of absolutely insane multitasking. That was an incredible win for Lilbow.
Absolutely was, and he can be proud after this win here. That was, oh my god, my heart, man. I was more stressed than him, I think.
I mean, he looked so good, and then suddenly ForGG did the ForGG thing where he's like, well, I'm going to drop here and here and here. Lilbow didn't have the detection out because he'd kind of gone for that lower tech opening with the charge lots and immortals. And
I admire Lilbow.
Oh.
Like, I'm not even going to say that I would have handled it a lot worse than him, because everybody knows I would have, but I'm going to go as far as saying that I would have lost to the initial Hellions and Marines.
as would many of us. But how did the man hold up underneath it? How did he feel? Let's find out from the analysis desk.
Thank you very much, Pig. Joined here with In Control and Lilbow. What a stressful game, I guess is the best way to describe that.
Yeah, but it was very stressful, and I'm pretty tired now. Like already, I don't really like to play too late in the night, and yeah, those games were pretty exhausting.
And you've just come out in first place by beating Jaedong and ForGG. I know you always carry a lot of self-confidence in every tournament, in every round, every group you play in. What was your confidence levels coming to today's group? Because it is a difficult group.
In general, I force myself to not be too confident. Like whoever I play, I will just be at my maximum. I was unsure to beat Jaedong, but I expected to beat ForGG more easily. But well, on the second game, I just threw it. Like I could just have wait a bit for him to attack, but I move out for some reason, and I just lose for nothing. And third game was also extremely weird.
Are you at your maximum level right now for this week, do you feel? Do you feel in good shape?
Yeah, I feel in good shape. Yeah.
I know you want to win this because winning this means you get to play at BlizzCon, which is huge. You think this is possible the way that you're playing? I mean, you've just come out first place from this group.
Yeah, I think I can beat everyone, but I hope I don't play too late in the night, because I really doesn't like it very much, and I need just to be focused and stop throwing the games for no reasons.
Is it because you wake up early, or you just naturally get tired at this time of night?
I just never play the night. Like even when I'm at home or something, I just never play the night. I just don't like it.
All right. Well, we'll see what we can do, man, at that venue. All right.
Well,
We'll try to close it down pretty early for you.
I can play, but it's like not 100%, like 90, 95.
So what time is cut-off point, do you think? Is it like 10, 11,
What is your
12?
Any time except after like 11 p.m. I guess,
Okay.
or maybe even midnight.
And could you got some questions for him, game-related or not?
Well, I mean, that was just that situation was so stressful because it was one of those things where you were doing so good. You had an anchor of like 6 immortals. His army couldn't touch you. You were way ahead. He was trying to poke at your third base, and it just was not working. But then the second you moved out to the middle of the map, this game got really, really crazy close. And like the DTs did a lot of damage, but it didn't put him out. He was just able to kind of counterattack all the time. I mean, did you, at that point in the game, did you feel like you like it was slipping, or were you like, no, I'm still winning, I'm totally fine?
Well, I was more like I'm still winning, I'm fine, but like I don't even know why it was so close. Like I defended the first push quite well, and then the DTs did pretty decent, but I guess my composition was, well, it didn't make any sense pretty much, because I expected him to make a lot of tanks and then all in, but because he made bio, my compositions didn't make any sense anymore. So from there, like I was ahead, but because of my composition, the game was close.
Even at the end there, when he was, I mean, in the base trade situation where you were kind of pushing up into the natural after sacking the third, you weren't worried about a big doom drop and having too much, because you had very little forces over at your one mining base, and we all know Terran base trade can do evil things to us.
To be honest, the game was so crazy that I don't even remember what you are talking about.
Oh, really? Hey, I don't blame you, man.
But like in general, just having a Colossus at home and
Yeah.
some warpings is enough to defend anything.
Okay.
How does it feel having so many people behind you right now? Everybody wants you to win this. Everyone's really supporting you. Of course, the French scene is absolutely bonkers about you playing in this
Yeah.
tournament. And then you've got all the other fans, or all the ones that want to see you play at the global finals. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, I like to be supported in general, but actually, like in the third game, when I was about to move out and do a mistake, I had a thug to a friend who bet on me, and so I was like, no, I can't lose for him, so I will wait and just wait for him to
Wow.
push.
Well, that's amazing. That's great that it called you back there. Getting a little bit away from these games, even kind of going into a couple of things heading into the final venue that we're going towards. Do you see yourself as the best non-Korean? I know this is a question you get asked quite a bit because a lot of people call you that, but it's being a little bit more contested. I feel like Petit, Drogo, Snoot, they're up there as well. I mean, where do you see yourself?
Well, even if I was the best, like the gap will be very close, so I don't even try to call myself like this. And I don't call anyone the best for right now because I think there is not right now. But yeah, I think I should do decently if I don't play any Protoss, but I shouldn't play any Protoss, so from there should be fine.
Do you think if you make it to BlizzCon, you would feel like you were the best? Is that kind of, or like,
He's
let's
pushing
say,
for it.
or if Snoot makes it and you don't, does that make Snoot the best?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, if I go to BlizzCon, it's because I make a top 1, because if I make a top 2, it's like 15% chance, so
Yeah.
obviously it's not a lot. So I guess if I make top 1 WCS and I'm the only foreigner in BlizzCon, I guess I can call myself the best, but winning WCS is not easy.
no. I
Do
don't
you
think so.
intend to, I mean, there's DreamHack around the corner as well, which is going to offer points as well. Is that on your radar to pick up some extra points to help if you need
Not
it?
too sure if I can talk about this, but maybe I will do another tournament instead of this.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well,
This is
congratulations.
an experienced young professional player. That was
Yeah.
a great answer.
Yeah.
I guess I could spoil this, that it wouldn't do anything, but still.
Everyone's going to be like, okay, what other tournaments on at the same time?
He's like, I desperately need points. There's only one other tournament with WCS points. Maybe I'll go.
Who knows?
Well, congratulations on going through first place. It's obviously going to be nice to have a couple of days to prepare yourself ready for the weekend, because it is going to be a big weekend for you. So best of luck with that. Let's bring in the brackets then, as Lilbow has officially gone through in first place, defeating both Jaedong and Lilbow, and ForGG, excuse me. Fantastic, fantastic results, which
Yeah.
leaves us now, Jeff, with 8 games tomorrow of...
Oh, man, tomorrow's going to be crazy.
It's going to be intense. It's going to be stressful.
Holy
We have
cow.
elimination game, decider game, elimination game, decider game. We're going to have a player going home, then a player going through, then a player going home, player going through. It's going to be a great day.
We'll be around 70 hours away from the
Yes.
the reveal.
The reveal. The official release of the Legacy of the Void cinematic is going to be 70 hours away tomorrow. Currently, it's just, I think, below 90 hours away.
89.
Got my eye on
89
it.
-ish.
Got my eye on it.
All jokes aside, it's going to be an amazing day tomorrow. And Sean, I'm going to go 8-0 tomorrow because I believe right now I'm at the bottom of the pack with Jeff.
It's 9 minutes away from 90 hours, by the way. It just came up. I'm not sure if you caught it.
Really, we're at 90 hours.
90 hours and 9 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have waited 10 hours for this moment. No, but to Kevin's point, it's
Yeah.
really important. Yeah, I'm no longer in the bottom because I called it. Called all of it. No, I called some of it.
We're definitely going to be following the predictions
I'm kind of
tomorrow.
sad that I couldn't talk about that last game because that was a really wild game, by the way. And
Let's
I want
interview Kevin real quick.
I want to compliment Lilbow on one thing. It's very difficult, I think, in these crazy scenarios to always keep track of all the Widow Mines. But he
Yes.
always kept having new observers with his army, or he just killed the Widow Mines. Because I'm sure you've been in those base trade scenarios where as well you do well as a Protoss, and suddenly it's like 1 mine, I can take it, 2, 3, and it's like you're getting punched all over again, and suddenly
Yes.
you run out of steam and you still lose the game. So that was really good crisis management.
Well,
by,
it's
Lilbow.
seeing those shadows. You can see them in the ground, and
course.
then when it's in the late game scenario, like he had to rebuild a second robo. It's all chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
Keeping track of where those are dealing damage is actually incredible, and it was awesome that he did that.
And hope he can keep that composure for the weekend, because, like I said to him, he's got a massive weekend ahead of him. It's huge. It's he could play at the global finals with a first place finish.
And he doesn't want to play late at night.
What
The
a
venue starts at 10 p.m. on the weekend. No, it doesn't actually.
It's a really crazy performance though, like being the runner-up of season 2. You know, was it a fluke? Was it not a fluke? Then he comes here, makes it through the round of 32, which was a little tricky because he had the PvP expert
What's the
Dongfu
fluke?
Banda in his group back then. In Challenger, he was very convincing against
Yeah.
Sword Off. I casted those games, but now in this group, this is such a difficult group, and he just does it
Aced
again.
it.
Like
Yeah.
now, I'm extremely excited to
Not
see
a
how he
fluke.
does in the quarterfinals.
Not a fluke. If there's two people out there that are saying that, he's put that to rest right now. You beat Jaedong, you beat 4GG,
Yeah.
played it past his bedtime. He's collecting a big check, and he's got himself a chance to go to BlizzCon. That's incredible.
It's going to be a great weekend, but we're not quite there yet. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are done for day 2 of the World Championship Series here at the Premier League. Do make sure to go to all social media areas and
Oh, wow. You got super British there real quick.
I did. I'm really sorry. Hashtag WCS, and of course follow on Twitter and Facebook. That is it done for today. We'll be back tomorrow, as mentioned, with the elimination games and the decider matches.
One game away from the crowd.